Wise Option 7 is going to be available to everybody around.
If you use Wise Option and you're a current user, this is something that we would recommend that you stay tuned and listen in.
And opportunities to exploit the system. That's what the session is all about.
Quite a lot of good stuff. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to another Wise Bytes. I think this is, I don't know, I'll call this round 2. I don't know, saying episode 2 is a little bit weird. We'll call this round 2. This is helpful for all Wise Option users. Doesn't matter if you are a manager, an employee. If you use Wise Option, you're a current user, this is something that we'd recommend that you stay tuned and listen in. It's not something you need to be by the computer for, or need to have Wise Option open. But we'll dive right into it. Eduardo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for asking, and very, excited about the session today because it's all about. To me, it's all about return on investment. Whatever we can do to let our users know how to squeeze the program to bring the best of, efficiency and opportunities to exploit the system. That's what the session is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, starting off with some good things here coming soon. You all will notice some new Wise tips coming out here probably the end of this week, early next week. We've gotten several new features here over the last couple weeks, so kind of get everybody a little good caught up. Thought we'd do a couple Wise Bytes. There's been some really good new ones. Just to kind of go briefly over a couple of the new things coming out here. We've got, of course, ICSI for the insemination feedback option, which is great. We've got some new updates to the customer repro logs online for clients to see things like their embryo transfer log, their breeding log, etc. New requirements for the customer profile online, and also updates for the pregnancy dashboard. So quite a lot of good stuff. So I thought we'd do some Wise tips to kind of catch up everybody on that.
Because I like the idea that, for you and your team, Rachel, to put together this collection of improvements. Of course, reproduction, it's a big deal in Wise Option, and we are always focused on keep going. I never say this is done because there's always something new to do. Always something new. But we have had amazing user suggestions and requests that we were able to put in this version. One thing I can anticipate and tell you guys on the, I would call, for some reason, the words are not coming to me today. I'm very slow.
It's Tuesday afternoon. It's a weird.
Well, from the development perspective, what I would say is that I'm not nervous about these new versions because we are mostly touching outputs, not actually the way the program receives data, not way. Of course, we don't touch the program with major projects during this, in the middle of the season. So when we release something out there for the users to experience is mostly related to outputs. So for that matter, I just say it's okay for you to get the new version.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of also development and new fun things, Wise Option 7. That's been super exciting. We've got beta testers now utilizing it, which is awesome.
It's for real. It's happening.
It's for real. It's there. Got some beta testers using it, and obviously in every free waking hour, we are adding more and more features to it as quickly as possible. I think the current plan is, depending on how the rest of beta testing goes, maybe starting to open it up to users beyond beta testing here. I think end of April, beginning of May. Does that sound about right?
Latest. Yes, that's my intention is, of course, beta testers have been very gracious. I have said out there that currently Wise Option 7 is a toy, not a tool.
Yep.
So that's the difference. Play with Wise Option 7 as something to be in the future, but at least you're going to have a sip on, the modern technologies, the languages that we're using. We are in the very, very latest. We are making sure that Wise Option 7 is prepared for everything that is coming around. So you're going to see tons of new things coming, especially next year when we move more towards Wise Option 7. AI, for example, more partners on transactions and other things that I asked you to put in Wise Tips for latest. So if you could give them a sip or just a taste of what's coming in Wise Tips, that would be great. But yes, Wise Option 7 is going to be available to everybody around end of April. latest begin first 2 weeks of May. That's my plan. So everybody, we are kind of squaring and declaring a little bit some of the initial little bugs and presentations, misspellings, but it looks pretty sleek, and I'm very happy with what our team is doing, especially regarding performance.
Yeah.
So it's coming. It's real.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, it's always
I
good
just
to
say that because we keep saying, and
I
the
know.
vast majority of users are just listening Wise Option 7, right? But
I know. Well, at least the
where's this
beta
thing?
testers have it now, so at least that's a little
Yeah.
that's better. Some beta testers will come and talk about it, but yes, for users and to be able to opt in, that'll be here soon before you know it. So some other things besides, moving back from Wise Option 7 to Wise Option 6, we're still, attuned to any adjustments that need to be made. We recently did quite a few adjustments on the QuickBooks Online integration.
Yes.
There were some things not working quite as they should, and some suggestions from our users that they've been very patient with us while we tried to implement. So probably some of the bigger ones I would say was I think that the changes in Wise Option, when you would alter an invoice, it wasn't altering it in QuickBooks. That was leading to a lot of duplicate work for those users that utilize the integration. So we made those adjustments on that. We also found some solutions for some other items that were some asks as well. But we came across something really interesting when we were doing that review, which was I think it was just actually, Eduardo, I think you may have caught it, that while we happened to be just shadowing some users and watching them work with the program, we noticed that there was a severe performance issue on adding clients to QuickBooks from Wise Option.
Guys,
it was bad.
I'll tell it to all of you out there, a special thank you. You guys are so amazing. We had such a great group of users.
Really do.
I will never stop, thanking them for what they do and how patient they are with us. Of course, we are where we are because of them. They believe in the company. They believe in the concept. But here's something I would like to tell you. We are here for you. We will not have our feelings hurt if something you don't like. As a matter of fact, that's what makes the program good. Different perspective, and we try to cater and adjust the program as much as we can to each one's like. However, if you push a button in the program and anything is taking longer than 30 seconds, that's not right. That's not right.
It's not right.
Please raise your hand. Let us know. 5, 7, 8 seconds. I can live with that.
Yeah, especially for 30 seconds or merging things. But
so
yeah,
exactly. Sometimes we are dependent on third parties, APIs, their web services. QuickBooks is just an example. But if you're not a QuickBooks user, the lesson I would take, it's for everybody. Sometimes we might be talking about other integrations, credit card process, Global Vet Link, HICE, Tech Collect payments, anything that is related to web interconnection or producing reports or something. You push a button, is more than 30 seconds. Let us know. Very likely, there's a chance we can make this a third, if not less, of the time. Yeah. In this particular case, a very patient user was waiting for 1 minute and 30 seconds that I caught by chance when hitting a save button. And I said, what in the world? I that shows me the patience of our users. But I will tell you for real, there must be something better. 1 minute and 30 seconds of hitting a button, anything beyond 30 seconds. Don't find a workaround, because sometimes people hit enter and it's going to do something else while it's processing. If it is the service that it takes that long, we're going to put in a second thread, give you a message and allows you to do something else and send you some sort of notification. We need to find a workaround, not to keep you sitting there. That really bothers me when you guys are just sitting there and waiting on performance. It's a big deal for us. Thank you for being so patient, but please raise your hand.
Yes, most definitely. And I think that's good words to think on, especially as we move forward there in Wise Option 7 as well. It'll be the same thing. I know our beta testers are sitting there they're probably sitting on their hands, just waiting, itching to say things at the moment. Although right now, since we're
And I
working
can say one more thing.
yes.
It sometimes users get really puzzled. And to be honest, even me, I get puzzled sometimes that we release something new and some problems show up in a particular
Mm,
section that you could not even, be creative enough to create some sort of connection about those 2 points. But there are several connections, happening under the hood. And sometimes that happens. We create something here that it on the other side it brings
yeah.
some performance issues. That's why we need this close. And the program is so huge at this point, covering
Right.
so many corners. It's humanly impossible. Even with the robots doing unit tests and things like that, we still rely a lot on users to tell us where it hurts. So the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think we covered everything on my list. Unless there was something else that popped up, but I think we hit everything. We'll
No,
keep
I'm
it.
very excited about Wise
Yeah.
Option 7. I'm very excited about, the performance. And we have had several new clients in implementations this year. Brings to my attention not only for new clients, but also for those around the corner for some time with us. It's always good to have a project manager in your operation
Yeah.
because although we will always be here and available for a one-on-one session with individuals in different departments in your operation, no question about that. If you have somebody new on a specific department, one-on-one training after watching some videos coming with specific questions. However, it's so productive when we have a person who understands the operation on site and can put some logic behind the priorities, especially, and
Yeah.
say, this is more important, that's more important. So to coordinate. Again, we will always talk to individual departments, especially on the training side, but I strongly suggest that you guys have an internal liaison, a person who talks to us as a project manager so we can prioritize and give you also important. Of course, as you guys know, we never share names or numbers. This is huge here for us. Never. But we share policies. We can share with you things that work gracefully, and we can help you to avoid pitfalls. And talking to your project managers, sometimes a person in a certain department will not be that patient. They want just that problem solved. They don't want to, talk about, other venues in this interaction. However, for the operation, and again, return on investment, it's all about squeeze the program to its max efficiency. And very likely, because the vast majority, get into the comfort zone and don't explore what's ahead, what's possible to do with the program. So those would be my 2 cents that come to mind. But other than that, it's breeding season. Our servers are working smoothly. Everything is going, our backups are on time. Everything is going well. Seems Microsoft so far, no hiccups, no hitches, the infrastructure on the data center. It's going very good. Other than, sometimes an employee that changes here and there, we give the support, but everything is going well. How would you grade, Rachel, so far the breeding season? It's still early March, but how would you
It
grade
is
it?
still, I think for the most part, most users have kind of settled in for breeding season. I think they're beginning of February till the end of February. I think that's typically when the panic always sets in. Things get very busy very quickly. Those employees that were hired on, some of them maybe at the last minute or or later, they're right. They're kind of scrambling to try and get everybody trained. So about there, probably here about right about now, people are kind of falling into the groove of things. They've got their training a little bit more under the belt. I think everyone's taking a little bit of a breath. We're not near done with it, but I think for the most part, people have kind of settled in here for the breeding season. So
Yes.
always a good thing to see and see, like you said, people working well with Wise Option, and always a good opportunity to just remind you again, if you need help, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yep. So keep an eye. Rachel is probably going to be producing new wise tips with her team, and new features are coming along. We're going to have the ACH. We're going to have care credit. We're going to have more integrations, probably a Merck device with a temperature and reading. So there are so many things. And of course, we are preparing the foundation for AI to, prescribe, transcribe, scribe things and progress notes, stuff like that. And watch out. You will be very soon touching Wise Option 7 as well.
Well, and that will end it on a positive note there. Hope everyone has a great rest of their days, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.